Good morning, students. Today's topic is necessary condition for socialistic pattern of society. In this topic, objectives are to accelerate economic growth and boost the process of industrialization as a means to achieving a socialistic pattern of society, removal of regional disparities through development of regions with low industrial base. And the starting is the introduction of the existence of wage labor is often seen by socialists as a necessary condition for our society to be counted as capitalist. Typically, workers, unlike capitalists, must sell their labor power to make a living. They sell it to capitalists who, unlike the workers, control the means of production. And the capitalists typically subordinate workers in the production process. As capitalists have a systematic decision making power over what gets produced and how it gets produced. Capitalists also own the output of production and sell it in the market, and they control the predominant bulk of the flow of investment within the economy. The relation between capitalists and workers can involve cooperation, but also relations of conflict, example regarding wages and working conditions. This more or less antagonist power relationship between capitalists and workers plays out in a number of areas within production itself and in the broader political process, as in both the economic and political domains. Decisions are made about who does what and who gets what. This is the necessary condition for socialistic pattern of society. And the next is socialism in India. Socialism in India is a political movement founded early in the 20th century as a part of the broader movement to gain Indian independence from colonial rule. The movement grew quickly in popularity as it espoused the cause of India's farmers and laborers against the zamindars, princely class, and landed gentry. In the socialism shaped the principal economic and social policies. of the Indian government, but mostly followed dirigism after independence until the early 1990s when India moved towards a more market based economy. And these economies are a small socialistic revolution, revolutionary groups arose in India in the aftermath of the Russian Revolution. The Communist Party of India was established in 1925, but socialism as an ideology gained a nationwide appeal after it was endorsed by leaders such as Jawaharlal Nehru. And these socialistics were amongst the first to call for outright Indian independence from colonial rule. Under Nehru, the Indian National Congress, India's largest political party. India's largest political party is the Nehru's party. In this party, the after India's independence in 1947, the Indian government under Prime Minister Nehru and Indira Gandhi oversaw land reform and the nationalization of major industries and the banking sector. And independently, activists Vinoba Bhave and Jay Prakash Narayan worked from peaceful land redistribution under the Sarvodaya movement, where landlords granted land to farm workers out of their own free will. In the 1960s, the Communist Party of India formed India's first democratically. In these parties' history is in 1871, a group in Calcutta had contacted Karl Marx with the purpose of organizing an Indian section of the First International. The first article in an Indian publication in English that mentions the name of Marx and Engels, printed in the Modern Review in March 1912. The short biographical article titled Karl Marx, a modern rishi, was written by the German based Indian revolutionary Lala Hardayal The first biography of Karl Marx in an Indian language was written by R. Ramakrishna Pillai in 1914. And Marxism made a major impact in Indian media at the time of Russian Revolution. Of particular interest to many Indian papers and magazines was the Bolshevik policy of right to self-determination of all nations. Bipin Chandrapal and Bal Gangadhar Tilak were among us the prominent Indians who expressed their admiration of Lenin and the new rulers in Russia. And Abul Sattar Khairi and Abdul Jabbar Khairi went to Moscow immediate, immediately on hearing about the revelation. In Moscow, they met Lenin and conveyed their greetings to him. The Russian Revolution also affected emerged Indian revolutionaries, such as the Ghadar Party in North America. And this time, the Khilafat movement contributed to the emergence of early Indian communism. Many Indian Muslims left India to join the defense of the Capitolate. Several of them became communists whilst visiting Soviet territory. Some Hindus also joined the Muslim Muharids in the travels to the Soviet areas. And the colonial authorities were clearly distributed and disturbed by the growing influence of Bolshevik sympathies in India. A first counter move was the issuing of a fatwa urging Muslims to reject communism. And the this picture is major positions on the American political spectrum. Left to right, the progressive postmodernist liberal modernist, physically conservative modernists, and the time the socially conservative traditionalists is there in the American political spectrums. This is the major position. And the Home Department established a special branch to monitor the communist influence. Customs were ordered to check the import imports of Marxist literature to India. A great number of anti-communist propaganda publications were published. The First World War was accompanied with the rapid increase of industries in India, resulting in a growth of an industrial pol- proletariat. At the same time, prices of essential commodities increased. And next, the contributed to the build-up of the Indian trade union movement. Unions were formed in the urban centers across India, and strict were organized. In 1920, the All India Trade Union Congress was founded, and the one Indian impressed with developments in Russia was S.A. Dench in Bombay. In 1921, he published a pamphlet titled Gandhi's versus Lenin, a comparative study of the approaches of both the leaders, with Lenin coming out as better of the two. And next, this pictures Marxism and liberal pluralism. Marxism and liberal pluralist theory and the media. These types of keywords in this picture: economic base, superstructure, proletariat, bourgeois, ideological state apparatus, repressive state apparatus, false consequences. And the key theorists: Karl Marx, Stuart Hall, Chomsky, and Herman Antonio Gramsci. In keywords are liberalists, pluralists, And these keywords theorists are Michele Gorevich. These are the keywords of Marxism and liberal pluralism. And next, the political parties. Political parties at the 1931 Karachi session of the Indian National Congress. Socialist pattern of development was set as the goal for India through the 1955 of the resolution of the Indian National Congress. A socialistic pattern of development was presented as the goal of the party. And a year later, the Indian Parliament adopted socialistic pattern of development as official policy. A policy that came to include land reforms and regulations of industries. The word socialistic was added to the preamble of the Indian Constitution by the 42 and Amendment Act of 1976 during the emergency, and it implies social and economic equality. The social equality in this context means the absence of discrimination on the grounds only the caste, color, creed, sex, religion, or language. Under social equality, everyone has equal status and opportunities. And economic equality in this context means that the government will endeavor to make the distribution of wealth more equal and provide a decent standard of living for all. And the next is the following: independence. The Indian government officially adopted a policy of non element, although it had an affinity with the USSR. The party's commitment to socialism has waned in recent years, particularly following the assassination of Indira Gandhi and her son Rajiv Gandhi. And this elected in 1991, the government of Narasimha Rao introduced economic liberation with the support of Finance Minister Manmohan Singh, who later on became the Prime Minister of India 2004 to 2014. And the communists were also active in the Indian independence movement and have played a significant role in India's political life. Although they are fragmented into a multitude of different parties. Communist parties represented in parliament are statistics from 2019 general elections. Communist Party of India Marxists with 3 seats in the Lok Sabha. The Communist Party of India 2 seats. And the Revolutionary Socialistic Party and the 1 seat only. The former Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Somnath Chatterjee, is a member of the CPI left front parties remain and independent faction in the parliament critical of the policies of both the government and that of the mainstream opposition parties. And this picture, all the status of their liberalism, socialism, no government, every parties are included one to another. Liberalism, socialism, capitalism, lib- libertarians, economic convertism, and next, socialism is a rich tradition of political thought and practice, the history of which contains a vast number of views and theories, often differing in many of their conceptual, empirical, and normative commitments. In his 1924 Dictionary of Socialism, Angelo report canvassed no fewer than 40 different definitions of socialism, telling his readers in the book's preface that there are many mentions in the house of socialism. To take even a relatively restricted subset of socialist thought, Leszek Kotekoswicki could fill over 1,300 pages in his magisterial survey of main currents of Marcus. Our aim is of necessity more modest. In what follows, we are concerned then to present the main features of socialism, both as a critic of capitalism and as a proposal for its replacement. And the next is our focus in on predominantly on literature written within a philosophical idiom, focusing in particular on philosophical writing on socialism produced during the past 40 so or so year. Furthermore, our decision concentrates on the normative contrasts between socialism and capitalism as economic systems, and that both socialism and capitalism grant workers legal control of their labor power, but socialism, unlike capitalism, requires that the bulk of the means of production workers use to yield goods and services be under the effective control of workers themselves rather than in the hands of the members of a different capitalist class under whose direction they must toil, as we will explain below. This contrast has been articulated further in different ways, and socialistics have not only made distinctive claims regarding economic in regarding economic the system of this organization, but also regarding the process of transformation and fulfilling them, and the principles and ideals orienting their justification, including as well as we will see certain understanding of freedom, equality, solidarity, and democracy. And these are the focus is predominantly on lecture written within a philosophical idealism, and that our focus is predominantly and the system of socialism is a rich tradition of political thought and practice, the history of which contained a vast number of views and theories, often differing in many of their conceptual, empirical, and normative commitments. And at the end of this topic, some references is there. These are the references of this topic. And at the end of this topic, some multiple choice question is there. First question is, which of the following could not considered a major economic system? Capitalism, communism, socialism, and physical quality of life index. The answer of this question is physical quality of life index is the right answer. And the next question is, economic development refers to. Economic development refers economic growth pulse change in output, distribution, and economic structure. Next, improvement in the well-being of the urban population. And next option is sustainable increases in gross national product. What is the answer of this question? Economic development refer to, the right answer is sustainable increases in gross national product. And next question is OPEC. OPEC is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Country. B is Organization of Pre-European Commission. Next is Oil Producing Economic Cascus, and next Organization of Problematic Economies Committee. And the right answer of this question is Organization of Pre-European Commission. And next, the PPP is a theory that tells us that exchanges rates between currencies are in equilibrium when their purchasing power is the same in both countries. And next, GDP divided by exchange rate and measure of income inequality. And the last option is a measure of infant mortality in developing countries. PPP is a measure of infant mortality in developing country. This is the right answer of this question. And next question, the physical quality of life index combines three indicators. They are infant mortality, life expectancy, and adult literacy rate. Next, the crime rate, clean environment and quality of housing. And next, the air pollution rate, water pollution rate, and sanitation. And the next option is health, education, and environment. The physical quality of life index is air pollution rate, water pollution rate, and sanitation also. These are the three indicators. And next question is infant mortality. First is defined as the annual number of deaths infant under 1 year old per thousand live births, reflects the availability of primary education, the right of employment and social security, and is life expectancy up to age 3, reflects the availability of hospitals and child care facilities, and the parents' wealth, and is life expectancy up to age 3 is the right answer of this question. And the next question is the Human Development Index summarizes a great deal of social performance in single composite index combining disparity reduction rate, human resource development rate, and the composite index, and longevity, education, and living standard. And next, the minimum schooling, adult literacy, and territory educational entertainment. And next, the human resource training, development, and R&D. The answer of this question is disparity reduction rate, human resource development rate, and the composite index. And next question is, according to the text, basic need include first is food, clothing, and housing. And next option, health, education, and quality housing. And next option is equate nutrition, primary education, health, sanitation, water supply, and housing. And last option is longevity and living standards. The right answer of this question is health, education, and quality housing is the right answer of this question. And next question is ASEAN refers to the Association of Southeast Agro Nations, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Alliance of Southeast Asian Neighbors, and Alliance of Southeastern African Nations. The right answer of this question is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And the next question and last question is this topic is as economic development proceeds in income inequality tends to follow a dash curve, convex, inverted U-shaped, L-shaped, S-shaped. The right answer of this question is inverted U-shaped is the right answer of this question. And this is the all about the topic. And at the end of this topic, thank you.